Go page with a little bit of gold with the cool kids.
Hey everybody, I'm Trevor.
I'm the cool kid.
And we are the cool kids. Cool kids. We are the Anthony and Todd Show. Today we're going to be taking a look at Jack Harlow's latest mixtape, Loose. Jack Harlow is a Louisville rapper. He is not super well known, but if he had to be most well known for something, it would be his latest single, Sundown, which really got Vincent and I excited to review this latest mixtape. Jack Harlow has released two previous mixtapes, 18 in 2016 and Gazebo in 2017. Then, of course, debuting Loose, which featured that single, Sundown. And that is about the extent to which the album is amazing. Sundown is one of probably my favorite singles of the year, and one of my favorite just surprise tracks of the year. That just came out of nowhere, slapped me in the face with being on the roof and weird cadences, and it's short, it's sweet, it's absolutely amazing. And for the rest of this mixtape, it is honestly hard to see how this one single came out of a project that had the rest of the things on here, if that makes sense. Loose is about 45 minutes, jam-packed with generic trap beats and okay lyricism. I think that Jack Harlow could have kind of a future if he worked on some of his lyricism a little more. Are you okay?
Yeah.
What's wrong?
I'm good, you know? I'm good, you know?
Okay.
I just love when these artists actually try for a fucking track and then they just decide, hey, you know what's fun? Trap's hip. I love the Migos. I love Future. I'm fucking sick of this trend. This is probably going to be this time I review. This is this album. We talked about Mine's 1.5 last week. This is that. Listen to that instead of this, actually. Sundown is a fucking fantastic track. I love the very simple drum beat. I love the very, playful organ on top of that. The 90s G-Funk-like synth that shows up in little moments here and there. I love his flow. His swagger reminds me of his white boy swagger more, reminds me of G-Eazy, but with actual lyrical talent and cadences, like someone we referenced at the beginning of the review, the Cool Kids, especially Chuck English. It's a very good single. The thing I can kind of nitpick about that single is that some of his transitions between bars aren't that good, very sudden rhyme scheme change, and it feels kind of a little bit awkward, but not enough to ruin it.
I think more or less you're trying to say that the chorus sounds too similar to the verses, and so it's hard to determine where you are in the song.
No, I think I don't think it's not even post-hook or pre-hook. It's more of, especially one of the more notable moments is hit you with the words of wisdom, just randomly kind of out there. It just doesn't, it feels very sudden and kind of forced that you switch the rhyme scheme right there. It just doesn't feel natural. Nothing bad to it. That's just something I got out of it. But his rhyme scheme is very Rither-like, very smooth, very flowing, very eternal. I just like that. I like just how, just looking at it, I'm off a tab of that synthetic Sundown 45 minutes to let shit set in. Very smooth, very playful, very fun. That works. Going over every other fucking track on this, there's no notable moments. The most notable moment is the track with Sci-Hi the Prince, who's on here for some reason. Sci-Hi the Prince is the Jack Harlow of good music. Just kind of exists and is there and has talent, but never showcases it.
Yeah.
And on this, I think he's okay, but he doesn't do anything really. I think he has good flow, good performance, but I don't think he needs to be there. Mm-hmm. I think K-Camp shows up on here. Why he sounds like he's intermessed with Jack and they are the same person. They are the supersonic generic rapper. They are the trap. They have physically become the trap. The trap is now speaking through them. It's some ancient demon. But other moments, I think Jack has a problem of just not being unique, not sticking to himself really, or not even not sticking to himself because I don't know him, but not sticking to what made the performance at the beginning good. He sings way too much at this. He's not really that good at it. And other moments, I think he has good flow, sometimes, like on the track Drip Drop with Sci the Prince. I think his flow's good, but he's mumbling. He's not passionate about anything, and he doesn't have any charisma or swagger like he did in the opening track. I think the swagger of the beginning track and his performance and his cockiness made him seem listenable. It made him seem like he actually had something to say. But when he's trying to be Future and Post My Load, he's not doing anything of note. The production on this is incredibly lame, except for the beginning, which is a very amazingly executed simple drum beat that reminds me of something I would make on my like XR20, which is not a bad thing. I just love the simplicity to it. But the production, mostly done by 2-for-1, is god awful, and he even has features on here that I have a hard time even noticing his existence. But yeah, this thing is not good, and it is a bigger trend that I think we can talk about for a second, but I don't think there's really any point to, of just artists not trying, and artists trying to get off of a single or trying to get off loose singles and then making an album of just like throwaways where they are a different person than they are.
Yeah, that's basically what this feels like, is that Jack made this single Sundown, and it was getting a little bit of steam, and then felt this immense pressure to make an album or else he was going to lose relevance, and he made an album, and it's just not it's not him. And I think that's incredibly disappointing, because I think that's inside of him, Jack Harlow has this kind of unique artistry that he's bringing to the table here, but it doesn't show up for the rest of the album. That's not to say that all is bad, though. There are other moments I enjoy on here. Pick Up Your Phone, I think is fine. Or pick your phone, not pick up your phone.
Pick up the phone, baby.
That's Travis Scott. Pick Your Phone Up.
Ooh.
Not featuring Quavo, so that gives a little point there.
That's the only point it has.
That's a fine.
It goes from -50 to -49.
I think that's it. A bit more of an interesting track, and you can see a little bit of Jack Harlow's personality. I think Cody Banks, you can see a little bit of his personality in that same flow, but it's only for very fleeting, glimmering moments, and then they're gone. I'm talking like a single bar or two. It's incredibly disappointing to see an artist that thrived on a single and didn't put the amount of work or effort into the rest of the album, and that's about the extent to like which I can say there are so many artists that have fallen into that trap. I would rather Jack Harlow be a designer and like working on an album or doing something in the meantime, hopefully, versus an Aminé that released an amazing single and then felt pressure to make an album and then made two instead, and here we are.
I feel like a lot of these rappers are like weirdos with white vans and candy. Like the singles are candy. It's like, hey kid, you want some candy? And they lured me into their van, and then they just showed me their really shitty trap record, and
then they didn't deliver the rest of the candy.
It's just like why am I being baited? Like, if you're not going to deliver the person you are on your singles, don't deliver an album. Singles are a perfect form nowadays to release music, and albums are pointless, essentially, a lot of times. Albums are good for marketing, but they aren't good for creativity and artistry.
If you're not going to put the creative effort into an album, you get out of an album what you put into an album. And I think that there are plenty of artists that are putting a lot into their albums, hence why we have over like 50 albums this year that we have enjoyed. You know, there's a slew of albums that have come out this year that I enjoy as an album as a whole, as well as having singles off of it. We make videos about it. We're going to have a year-end list later about these albums. Albums are not pointless, but I think that artists need to realize that albums are not just something to throw around.
Yeah, no, but like, I'm not saying all albums are pointless, but I'm saying a lot of these albums aren't realized, or a lot of these artists aren't realizing that, and they're not going to put in the effort, and they view it as just holding singles. Like Migos do not care about the art form. Drake does not. Nicki Minaj does not. Jack Harlow doesn't.
They're putting out these albums to maintain relevancy, where they don't necessarily have to, because if Jack Harlow released, if he would have released Sundown and then he released another single in the place of this entire mixtape, I'd have been 100% fine, and Jack Harlow would not have lost relevancy in my mind because he did so well on those 2 singles before that if he did release an album a year down the road, I'd be excited for it because he released some really good music and I'd be excited to see what it was. But this one single and then releasing an entire mixtape of just mediocre stuff is not acceptable to me. And I can't think of like a worse sin than trying to bait listeners like that. I hate that.
People don't want to listen to your B-sides, and I'm not saying these are B-sides, but these are babies that should have been immediately killed. As an artist, you have to learn to when to kill your ideas, and these are ideas that are unfinished, and he's passing them off like they're finished. Yeah, this is bad. This is a bad out of 10 in my opinion. There's less moments that I think he's able to show his actual personality and flow than the Amine record. But I think overall this is pointless. This is a pointless album.
Yes.
I have little to no hope for him now. I think Sundown was a flop. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I hate to put people in a bubble, but I hope I'm wrong. I would have honestly loved 5 tracks that are as exciting as Sundown over the course of 2 years than this shitty mixtape.
Yeah.
And probably another shitty mixtape that'll release when he gets signed or something. That's it. This has just been super negative. Sundown's great. Nothing else is. That's the review.
Cool.
Stop making trap. Just like it's dead. Okay? Like the genre like has my hatred for this genre has grown even more this year. The fact that we just review it constantly, like I keep on getting baited with it, and I'm just angry.
Sick of it.
Just sick of it. But yeah, if you want to hear us be angry about trap, we're gonna have an entire playlist where it's just us ranting about trap, and that's it. I'm gonna make a playlist. I'm gonna link it at the end of this video. Just bad trap. That's what it's gonna be called. If you want to hear us rant on the best of our ranting, more like on audio form only, and you want to take us with you on the go, we do have a podcast called The Anthony and Todd Show on Apple Music and Spotify. Make sure to check us out. Give us a listen. Links down below in the description. But until next time, guys, don't do trap. Like,
stay away.
Learn
Make
other.
Nancy Reagan proud and just say no to trap. Bye, everybody.